Shields up, Ironbreakers. How's everybody doing today? We're going to be talking about Elite Dangerous and all of the things that were discussed that I happen to have seen in the Frontier Expo. Now, I wasn't physically at Frontier Expo, so there might have been a couple of things that were announced that I didn't really get a chance to see, but I would still like to talk about some of the things that I did get to witness in the live stream. So let me just put on a bit of ambience music so that we can discuss all of these amazing things. Now, what you're watching in the background is actually just my ship. Not too much attention to that. We're going to be talking about a lot of the new features that they've announced, and I have a couple of videos prepared here to show you. Namely, these were mostly extracted from their own live stream. Wow, what an obnoxious motorcycle on the outside. Before I begin, I would like to give a special shout out to the community managers of Frontier Developments because they're just really awesome people all around. Those were the two hosts, if you guys were watching the live streams yesterday. Bo and Ed, those two are just amazing. Like, I actually got to meet them when I went to Gamescom. They're just very, in my opinion, they're just very good community managers, because some companies, they will have certain community managers and PR people, and like, you can tell that in those other companies sometimes those people will look at you and they're like, okay, let's see. They're analyzing you in terms of how many potential views they can get out of you, basically, as a content creator. And I've never felt that way with Bo and Ed, and that's why I kind of give them a special shout out. Those two are awesome. Now, let's get on to the discussion topics, shall we? Oops, that was there. So the very first thing is they've announced a whole new thing in the form of the Beyond expansion, which is what's going to be happening pretty much beyond 2.4. So 2.4 is going to lead into a couple of new content things that we will be witnessing. They've shown some new ships, some new features. So to give you guys a quick summary, we're going to be talking about Thargoids and Guardians, just a little bit, just a brief mention there. We're going to be talking about the two new ships that were announced, as well as the ship that was leaked already, the Type 10. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Crime and Punishment revamp, though not too much, because I can't talk too much about that, to be honest, because I don't engage that much in open. We're also going to be talking about the... damn it. Sorry about that. We're also going to be talking about the Squadrons thing, which is going to be a new feature that is coming, as well as the improvements on trading, a couple of improvements on visuals, exploration, improvements on mining, the upcoming GalNet audio thing, as well as the improvements on engineers, and something that was shown in one of the trailers very specifically, which we will get into. We'll get into more details, because I think not everyone that is currently involved in Elite Dangerous is aware of a couple of interesting things that were shown in one of the trailers, at least. So, let's get to it. And starting things off, we're going to be talking about Guardian technology and Thargoids themselves. So obviously, with 2.4, we now have the appearance of the Thargoids, which we've been fighting, and you guys know that I've been super obsessed about it. Now, one of the things that people have noticed was the fact that if you are carrying Guardian technology, which Guardians are another race in the game, they're not the Thargoids and they're not humans, it's another sentient race, which is believed to be extinct. At least I think they kind of killed each other off or something. I'm not super informed about the Guardians themselves, because most of my research has been about the Thargoids. But basically Guardians have this whole mission that you can do for Guardians, and eventually you will come into possession of certain Guardian items like ancient relics. Now, it has been seen by certain players that if you throw ancient relics at Thargoids, they will attack it. And as a matter of fact, they will attack you if you carry ancient relics in your cargo racks. So it is it's just kind of something that you will want to keep in mind if you're carrying around ancient technology with you. But what they did do is, in the Frontier Expo thing, they've shown that it looks like we're going to be using that Guardian technology to build new weapons that will be affecting the Thargoids. So obviously the Thargoids not liking the Guardians is going to be an aspect that is going to be more fleshed out in the upcoming narrative for Elite Dangerous, in Beyond and whatnot. And I guess we're going to be learning a whole lot more about Guardians and their relationship with the Thargoids. So before we continue, I want to show you guys a little bit of a trailer as well as some imagery that we will get to see about the stuff that I'm discussing here. So let me just this.
I think we've got some images of some of the sort of technology.
You can clearly see that the Thargoid was not happy about that. Now, if you actually do that in-game, which this is something you can do right now in-game, you can go to specific systems and get this ancient technology. And once you get it, you can then bring it back, go to the Pleiades sector, and you can find one of those non-human signal sources, threat level 5, and there will be a Thargoid there, and you can jettison one of those relics. You will actually see the Thargoid just straight up attacks it. He becomes aggressive and he's going to attack it and destroy it. And now we're going to be seeing some of the weapons that we will be creating in the, I'm assuming, the near future. So within the next couple of months, we're probably going to be creating these new weapons which are going to be more efficient at fighting Thargoids.
Technologies that you may well be able to, a tantalizing peek at some.
So this right here is like a weird-ass gun. Now this, in my opinion, is either going to be something closely resembling a railgun or a plasma accelerator. But since I haven't used a lot of the weapons, only recently I've actually started using plasma accelerators, which, by the way, are friggin' awesome. So I'm very excited to see what this particular weapon is going to be. Now, the thing that I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit disappointed by is that most likely a lot of these weapons are going to be locked behind community goals. And I know because I've been following Reddit and people are super upset about community goals. They're just like tired, they're done with it. And I understand the frustration. I'm going to be talking more about community goals once we go over all of the other features that are coming in Beyond. I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on some of these things. But for now, the only assumption that I can possibly make is that these weapons will be unlocked through community goals. And even though I know that a lot of you guys are frustrated about community goals, my advice is, for now, until we can get a better way that community goals can be implemented. Because, like, these protests that people are doing in game right now, you know, it's just going to make so that everyone's going to have less fun with this stuff. Because, like, if you get a weapon like this, you know, you got people in your Anacondas and your Corvettes with the friggin' huge hard points, and you want a big, beefy one of these. But then the community goal reaches like tier 1. And they're going to be like, well, here you go, class 2. You know, participate, you guys. Like, really, at least give us the weapons so that we can fight back. And then we can talk about how we can improve on community goals and whatnot. Anyway, this is one of the potential weapons, like I said. I think this is going to behave kind of like railgun or plasma accelerator type thing. However, it might be turreted because you can see that it's got a mount on it that looks like it can turn around and stuff. So I don't think that these are going to be fixed hard
some
points.
of the things you might be unlocking in these new personal narratives.
Then you got this. Now this is really weird because it almost looks like the thing in the back looks like some kind of ammo type thing, but this doesn't really have a barrel to fire. So I don't know. Could this potentially be like the Guardians version of a fragment cannon? Or maybe, I don't know, because it doesn't even look like a plasma accelerator. It just, to me, this feels more like a fragment cannon than everything, but it could really be whatever. I just have no idea what this particular one is.
Narratives that we're bringing to Elite. Now, who knows what on earth these things
And then
do.
there's another one they're going to show, which is this one. This one, I don't think it's, is this just the other one from the back? No, because it has a, actually, it can be. It actually, oop. It might just be this one viewed from the back angle. Yeah, it's just this one viewed from the back angle. Although for some reason it looks way cooler from behind. But yeah, I have no idea what this.
I'm sure that you'll be.
But either way, these are guns that you will be crafting from Guardian Tech. So I'm assuming that as part of the narrative, we're going to have to go back and investigate more Guardian technology. I'm assuming that they're going to send us back there through some kind of GalNet news article or something that is going to incite us to go back just the same way that it has incited the community to kind of go to the Pleiades sector now with the return so that you can experience new Thargoids content. I think that they're going to have some other kind of thing happen, some kind of catalyst that is going to trigger commanders to move into Guardian space. And I'm pretty sure that Canon is going to be involved with that as well, moving the Gnosis over there, because I don't know how many stations are close to that sector. I'm not particularly familiar. Like, I'm familiar. The sector that I've spent the most time in is definitely the Pleiades sector because of my Thargoid fixation. So I know Maya, Merope, HR 1185, a lot of the Thargoid sites, all these things. And I'm not particularly familiar with the Guardians loop. But anyway, that is going to be something that is going to be a part of the narrative. We're going to be exploring more about the lore of the Guardians and their role with the Thargoids and how the two mix and match. But I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking, okay, Rurikhan, that's all well and good. Tell us about the ships. Them ships, man, them ships. Okay, so we're going to be having Alliance ships. Let me just see if I can find the right one. It is. So we're going to be having 2 new ships that were announced at Frontier Expo. Those 2 ships are the Chieftain and the Crate. Let's start by taking a look at the Chieftain.
Oh no, it's too late. Beat me to it. There it is.
Okay, so that is a grey render of a ship that we are calling the Chieftain. And we're really pleased with the look. So this is kind of work in progress mesh. We wanted to bring it along today to give a sneak peek. It's untextured, and it's not got any of the shaders on there that it will end up having in game, so we look forward to sort of sharing the development process on that in the coming months. But maybe it would be good to go into a little backstory about how it fits into the narrative as well. So this is quite a unique ship in that it's an answer really to the fact that the universe has recently gotten a little more dangerous with the return of the Thargoids, who you guys have been having a fun time with recently. And basically what it is the Alliance have partnered with Lakon, one of our ship manufacturers. And they've been working on these ships, and what it kind of combines, I think, is the existing aesthetic that we had with the previous Lakon ships, but with a slightly more military kind of aggressive feel. And we're really pleased with them. We can't wait to get people flying them.
Okay, so
Fits into the narrative as well.
more aggressive military feel. You heard them say that. More aggressive military feel. Cockpit. Right there. Right in the front of the ship. Right there. In the open. Right there. Where the Thargoids can shoot right at it, bust your canopy wide open. Military feel. Okay, so here's the thing. I actually really like the look of this ship. I think the ship looks good, but I don't necessarily agree that it is a more military ship. Now, I know that from a lore standpoint, there's this invisible shield that protects all of us, which is the shield generator that goes around, covers the whole ship, including the glass parts. But what happens when that shield breaks? You want your cockpit to be in a position where it's not going to break. As a matter of fact, I've been analyzing a lot of the ships, and the only two ships that I kind of like the position where their cockpit is the Anaconda, and I don't even like the Anaconda ship. I like the position where they put the cockpit, and the Vet. The cockpit position on both the Anaconda and the Corvette is fantastic. Why? Because it's not in the front of the friggin' ship. Okay, you're talking about military. Think Battlestar Galactica. Okay. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but anyone who has passion for Battlestar Galactica and has watched the show, like the CIC, which is the control center of the ship, the main thing where everybody is controlling the ship from, it was not in the front, it was not in the back, it was not in the sides, it was in the core of the ship, like right the middle of the ship, you know, is just like surrounded by bulkheads all around. You would have to, if you want to look to the outside, you would have to trust on your monitors and your navigation instruments and all these other things. And it's like, to me, that's always been the ideal place to put a cockpit on a ship. And when you're talking about military vessels, you know, you don't want the cockpit to be out there. And Lakon has a really, in my opinion, they just have really bad design when it comes to cockpits, because their cockpits are always just like out there, front and center, ready to be blown off out of the sky. Like you got the Type 9 from Lakon, which has this protruding big-ass cockpit. You got the Asp Explorer, which you guys know I hate the cockpit. I mean, I love the fact that you get a lot of vision out of it, but as a combat ship, you know, it's just like, to me, this being a combat ship, I just hope that canopy is like reinforcement to all hell. You know, at least it looks like this one might have something that maybe covers it or something. I don't know. I'm just hoping that this cockpit is reinforced like nobody's business. It's like, I don't want to go into a fight and just have the Thargoid break my canopy like 5 minutes into the fight. You know, that's my biggest fear with Lakon ships, because most Lakon ships, canopies, they just go like that. But other than that, I like the aspect of it. I think it looks like an interesting ship. It's got like, looks like it's going to be pretty big as well. So I'm thinking this is, actually, it might be medium. I'm not sure if it's going to be large or medium, but it looks like a cool ship. Like, this is a ship that I will want to try out because it just looks cool. Also like that it's got 4 engines in here, 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 here. So also the main ones in the back and stuff. I don't know. I just think it looks like a cool ship. But again, I just, that cockpit over there, ass can be busted wide open. Okay, that is the Chieftain. Then we have the Crate. Apparently is a ship that came back from the original Elite, which I personally haven't played.
Okay. So I think that's called the Crate. Right. Okay. Cool. I'm glad we got that right. Yeah, I think we've got some images of what we're looking at with the Crate. So again, this is a rough block out. It's not quite as worked up as the one that you saw for the Chieftain, but again, we wanted to bring it along just to give a little snapshot of where we're thinking of going with it. We think it's got some really nice features. It's got very unique cockpit placement that we're very pleased with. Really unique view from the front, and the hardware and hardpoint placement is kind of cool too. So looking forward to flying that next year.
Absolutely. So please, round of applause, please. Show some appreciation.
Okay, now let's talk about the Crate. Now the Crate is actually much more interesting because you guys see the cockpit. It's like down there, but I think there was one particular view that I'm interested in. I think it's this one. Yeah, this, not sure how many people noticed this, but this particular view of the ship made me instantly like, oh my God, this looks fucking awesome. And why? Not sure if you guys can tell, because like the quality, unfortunately I had to download their live stream, it was 720p. I wish the quality was better, but this was the best I can get. Well, like if you notice, this is the main cockpit. And then it's got multi-crew support, in my opinion, because it's got another cockpit right here. And potentially, if this ship obeys the laws of symmetry, we'll have another one right there. So it's got 3 separate cockpits. And that is a really cool thing. Like we've seen on the Chieftain, that they're going for these ships to be multi-crew, which, because they've been making improvements on multi-crew thing, also marking weapons that are multi-crew compatible. And let me see if we can get a good shot of the cockpit here. Where was it? Here we go. And in the Chieftain also you can see that this is a multi-crew ship. It's got 3 seats. So this is probably going to be that's one of the things that leads me to believe it's probably going to be a large ship because it's got 3 seats. And I think most of the ships that have 3 seats right now are large, which means it's probably going to support a good amount of turrets as well as fighters, which is going to be a lot of fun. These are ships that are meant for you to fly with your friends, which I know a lot of people are still like, oh, but multi-crew is so under development. Yes, but they're probably going to be working on that. They have to improve multi-crew. They just have to. Because multi-crew is going to be a friggin' fantastic feature if they manage to flesh it out properly. And you can definitely see that there's a tendency towards multi-crew with these ships, because like this ship's got 3 seats. Then you go back to the crate and you see the cockpit placement that I was talking about here. Right there. With the cockpit here, here, and here, which means probably I'm expecting this ship to also support fighters, which means this is going to be a ship that interests me a lot, particularly if it's not like the gunship, because the gunship, I was actually testing out the gunship recently because you guys know that I also really like having fighters on my ships. But the gunship has a lot of limitations in terms of jump range. Also, let me put the music back. It's got a lot of limitations in terms of for starters, jump range. Then on top of that, it's got limitations in terms of internal. Like, the gunship is a ship that is made to fight. It's just a fighter ship, and it's got no qualms about it. As a matter of fact, the other day I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, I want to try to squeeze in an SRV, and then at least a little bit of whatchamacallit, the cargo rack and a fuel scoop on my gunship. And then I was like, well, I guess it's SRV, cargo rack, and wait, it's SRV, cargo rack, fuel scoop, and fighter hangar. 4 things. Pick 3 of them. It's like you can either have your fighter hangar, your cargo rack, and your vehicle thing, or you can have a fuel scoop in there and not have one of those other things. It was very frustrating with the gunship. I'm hoping this one lets you have that, hopefully have some fighters in it. Definitely looks like it's going to have cool hard points, because like, look at this. You got the gunners in here, and then you got hard points here and here. That's just a cool thing, you know. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to have like 2 gunners, but it would be cool to be able to have each of them focus on like different targets. So like you could actually have a gunner on the right side, a gunner on the left side, and go in with this ship, and they would be able to fire at different targets. Like, that'd be cool. I'm just thinking, because of the cockpit positioning, it seems like something that would work out well. Also, the cockpit on this ship, you guys are going to tell me, oh, Rurikhan, but it's also on the front. Yeah, it's on the front, but it's protected. Because, like, it's got a lot of stuff on the sides and whatnot, so I don't think it's going to be as easy to pop open as the cockpit on the Chieftains. This one's got the more military thing to it, because it's got like friggin' steel around the cockpit. So even though the cockpit is in front of the ship, which, you know, and it would make it so it would indicate that the ship is going to be maneuverable, because the cockpit is out in front. You're going to need to be able to fly by what you're seeing right in front of you and whatnot. So it would indicate this could actually be a very aggressive fighter, very maneuverable fighter type vessel, even if it was really big and it could still take fighters and whatnot. I don't know. This ship interests me more than the Chieftain, even though the Chieftain ship, I also really like it. So, while we're on the subject of ships, I guess I might as well show you guys the ship that I really, really didn't care for at all. Let me just go through the video to see if I can find it. Actually, it might be. probably this one. Yep, it's this one. Let me just, before we watch this trailer in full, here you go. This right here, in my opinion, it hasn't been, I'm not sure if it has been officially confirmed or not, but this right here is the Type 10 Defender. And I know you guys are going to say, it just looks like a Type 9. Yeah, but if you look at images of the Type 9, which I actually believe I can. So, if you actually look at images of the Type 9, like this one, you're going to notice a lot of differences. Like, for starters, this one's got the two beefy things in here, which I'm assuming are like engines, whereas this one only has two in front. This one's got four. So this is definitely not the Type 9. I also looked up in the Frontier store, because I know I don't have as much experience on these ships as a lot of people who've been playing Elite Dangerous for years. So I looked on the Frontier store to make sure that there were no like body kits for the Type 9. So unless this is a body kit that is coming in the future, this is your Type 10. The other difference that you can clearly see, in case you guys are still having doubts, let me just take a look. If there should be one here from the back. This is what the Type 9 looks from the back. You can clearly see the two big engines here in the back, whereas if we let this video play for a little while, notice the amount of engines on this one. This is the same ship that we were looking at earlier, and this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 engines in the back against the two bigger engines on the Type 9. This would also make sense that this ship is the Type 10 Defender, because the Type 10 Defender is supposedly going to be a response to the Thargoids, so it's going to be a more military, more aggressive vessel. And in my opinion, having these additional engines would be something that could improve the yaw turn rate of the ship, because it's got more engines, whereas the Type 9 only has the two big engines. Like the Type 9 engine placement would be here and here, two really big engines. This one's got these other two on the side, and it's got smaller engines, so it allows you to have more maneuverability with the ship in terms of yaw turn. At least, I'm not an engineer in this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work, but I'm just thinking logically that would make sense, and that's why they would have that. Also, the ship has a spoiler that you can't really see here very well because of the quality of the video, but it's got a spoiler in there as well, which is, I was just like, wow, they put a spoiler on a Type 9. Either way, this right here, in my opinion, is your Type 10 Defender, and I'm extremely disappointed. Extremely disappointed in the Type 10. Why? Look at where the cockpit is. What is it with you, Lakon? Why can't you put your cockpits a little bit more defended? Like, what is this? You seem to believe that shields are going to protect you from everything. Trust me, they don't. Unless you're going to be able to make some kind of caustic shields, which I don't think is going to be a thing, because we're going to have like caustic hull reinforcements. I think that's been confirmed. But either way, it's like this cockpit right here is like, come on, dude. You're just begging a Thargoid to just give you the missile salvo right to the face. Bust your friggin' cockpit right open and then bust your ship too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have some kind of anti-Thargoid technology implemented into this ship that allows them to still have the cockpit like that. However, it is more protected than the cockpit of the Type 9. You can see that it is slightly more imbued into the ship instead of growing outwards like a big pimple that other ships just want to pop. So yeah, this is your, at least again, I think this is going to be your Type 10 Defender. So if you like the Type 9, which actually, I kind of like the overall silhouette of the Type 9. I just don't like cockpit placement. But yeah, if you like that, you're probably going to like the Type 10 Defender. Now let's talk about a couple of the other features. Okay, so for the next stuff, we don't really need video, so I'm just gonna put my little placeholder of my Clipper mining away at an asteroid, because I've recently been learning how to mine, because I hadn't mined at all in Elite Dangerous. So yeah. Okay, now then, continuing. We just chat as well, because I haven't been paying that much attention to chat. Okay, continuing. The next thing they're going to be doing is also crime and punishment revamp. So this is specifically more geared toward PvP and pirate players, which for those of you who don't know, you can actually kill other players if you go into open and stuff like that, and the game just allows you to do this kind of stuff. However, currently there isn't really a big punishment for you being a player killer, so to speak, which is not necessarily a bad thing, mind you, because I don't think that player killing should be prohibited in open play. I think it should be something that should be freely allowed. However, I also think there should be some risks to the players, which right now apparently there aren't really that much from an NPC standpoint. So they mean to give the NPC ships a little bit more teeth, a little bit maybe better tactics, better AI, better loadouts, so that they can deal with these player killers and protect other players who are traitors when they are in neutral space. Because right now I think that player killers can just go almost anywhere, like right outside an outpost, blast someone out of the outpost, kill them dead, and move on with impunity. And I think that is something that they want to prevent. Now also, it's very important for us to make sure that this crime and punishment thing does not become prohibitive to the point where commanders actually cannot engage in player killing, because there needs to be that risk when you're in open play. Now again, I'm not someone who does a lot of open play because my time in Elite is extremely limited, so I try to achieve my own goals in solo. Sometimes I'll do private group with some of the friends. However, I would like to try and form a bigger group with Ironbreakers if you guys are interested on PS4, because that is where personally I play, so that we can eventually have a squadron, which is going to be another feature that I will be talking about in a minute. Actually, this is actually a good segue into squadrons, because I mean, I guess everybody gets the idea of what crime and punishment thing is. Another feature that they're bringing out is squadrons, and that to me is like the thing that I'm most excited for. So what is squadrons? Squadrons is almost like guilds, so that is something that I would like to form in a similar way from what we've done in Destiny, where we formed the Ironbreakers in Destiny. I would like to form the Ironbreakers in Elite Dangerous. It's just the thing here is Elite Dangerous is on other platforms, as Destiny will be by the end of the month. But mostly, I personally am going to be playing most of my time on PlayStation 4. So if you own Elite Dangerous on PlayStation 4 and you would like to join the Ironbreakers, that is something that I want to work on in the future. So I hope a lot of you guys hopefully will own the game. And if you do, maybe we can get together and join up and form squadrons, because that is going to be interesting. Specifically because there's going to be missions that are going to be tailored for squadrons. So these are going to be missions that you're not going to be able to do by yourself. Whereas right now, most of the missions in game are soloable. They're going to be working on missions that you actually need a wing to take down targets, or maybe a wing to go do some heavy-duty mining. Like, you know, the potential here is limitless. Now, when you get to these missions, like you guys might be wondering, oh, but is Elite really going to be able to do that? Well, right now with the balancing that they're doing on Thargoids, you can't really solo Thargoids anymore. You can still take them out if you're on a wing, even though even then it's still quite challenging. So you know they've got the chops to pull these kind of encounters off now that they've been practicing them with the Thargoids. So that is something I'm really, really excited for. You know, multiplayer missions that actually require a wing to complete, and having people that, you know, will get together and complete these missions is going to be awesome. So which is why I'm saying I want to form up the Ironbreaker squadron if people are interested. So hopefully you guys are. Comment section, remember, mention that if you're interested or not. If most of you guys are playing Elite Dangerous on PC, I might consider rolling on PC, doing the grind again to form the Ironbreakers on PC. We'll see how that works out, but right now my inclination is PS4, because I also have my friends that play on PS4. So I would really like to do it that way. Another thing that is going to be added for squadrons, and this is really exciting, fleet carriers. You're going to be able to have fleet carriers for your squadron, which can be deployed anywhere you want, and in that fleet carrier you will be able to rearm, refuel, and restock and respawn. Rearm, refuel, restock, respawn. I'm not sure if you'll be able to sell stuff, and something that we could probably really use on a fleet carrier is storage space Frontier Dev, just throwing that out there, because I mean, imagine we're way out in the middle of nowhere, and there's no stations around, and we bring in our fleet carrier. I hope we can store stuff on there so that we can then bring back to the bubble and sell. You know, like that. That would be the shit, and that is what needs to happen. Hopefully. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to. Squadron missions, fleet carriers, super cool looking stuff. Another thing they've mentioned is also they're going to be improving trading by giving players access to better trade data so that you can decide, you know, you want to buy low, sell high. They're going to give you these tools in-game so that you don't have to rely as much on third-party websites. And anything that keeps people more in-game than outside of it is a big plus to me. But yeah, that's pretty much all they mentioned when it comes to trading. However, another thing that they're going to be revamping is going to be mining. So mining, there are going to be better missions for mining, new mechanics for mining. They've mentioned stuff like in the old days where people would go to the mountains and try to strike gold. That's kind of the same thing they want to do. They want to give players... They want to give players the feel that they've hit the mother lode and, you know, they've really struck it rich. They've even shown an image of like an asteroid exploding. It's like they want you to mine these asteroids all the way down to the core, and then they're going to probably explode and give you tons of really valuable minerals. So that looks way more interesting than what mining is right now that you guys can see in my video right there, which is still really cool because it was the first time that I did mining was last night, and that's where this footage is from. And I thought it was a really cool thing. I mean, I can see it getting really boring if you're doing it for long periods of time. I'm doing mining for the specific purpose of unlocking, I think it's a Selene gene. It's one of the engineers, requires mining. But improvements in mining is going to be really cool, in my opinion, because it almost seems like I'm always learning new things about Elite Dangerous. Like, I've been playing this game since it came out on the PS4. When was that? Was that like, wasn't it like June? I don't know, it was a while ago. And I still... No, I always keep finding new things that I want to do and new things that I want to invest in, which is why I find it weird that the community, at least in Reddit, they're so salty. They just seem to be upset about the game at every friggin' turn. We're going to be talking about more about that at the end of this video. But anyways, continuing. So, mining improvements, new missions, new mechanics, new things, striking gold, the mother lode. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a miner, you can look forward to that. That is going to be really cool. Now, these are two core aspects of Elite Dangerous, trading, mining. I think combat so far is pretty fleshed out. They're adding new things to combat as well. Now let's talk about the other, another core aspect of Elite Dangerous that is also going to be somewhat revamped, and that is exploration. So exploration has actually seen some quality of improvements in 2.4. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it or not, but previously you would only be able to plot jumps 1,000 light years away. That was your limit, and these jumps would not take into consideration the potential for finding white dwarf stars or neutron stars, which could boost your frame shift drive and let you jump further. So if you wanted to do something like that, you have to use third-party applications, which is what I used when I did my big 15,000 light years trip. I used the Neutron Router website. However, in 2.4, they've added a massive improvement to that, which allows you to plot jumps 20,000 light years away that take into consideration stuff like neutron stars and white dwarfs that will allow you to boost your frame shift jumps, and it's very satisfying to use the new navigation tools. But not being limited to that, they've also they're also going to be improving stuff moving onwards with the Beyond update. Which is going to include new types of missions for explorers, new types of commodities that you will get by exploring, as well as, this is something that a lot of people are going to be excited to hear, which is new phenomena and anomalies that you will be able to find in the galaxy. So one of the coolest things about exploration is not necessarily the money that you get from scanning and stuff. It's mostly the things that you get to experience and see along the way, because you will actually get to see a lot of unique things. Like sometimes you will find a system that has two suns right next to each other, or maybe a system that has this really cool planet with rings and then it's got a sun shining right on top of those rings, making it look really special. Like, there's a lot of really special things that you can find as you are out there exploring the black. So on top of that, they're going to be adding special phenomena and anomalies for explorers to find. I'm assuming that there will also be missions related to those anomalies and phenomena. And to top it off, there's also going to be a codex, which is going to act as an encyclopedia, and it is going to give you, incentives for things for you to explore and like complete, and all of that stuff's going to be registered in the codex, which can also give you clues, the places you can go to next to do exploration, which is very, very exciting if you're an explorer. At least I like to think. It's like one of the things that keeps me closer to the bubble is the fact that I'm constantly playing with my friends, because I've been getting this itch to just get out there into the black and just go all the way to Colonia or something. That is something that I eventually want to do. The problem is that an investment like that is going to mean I'm not going to be able to hang out with my friends for a while in Elite, and that, there's, in a way, obviously that's bad, but in another way, there's this cool concept in a game like this where it's like, well, if you want to do a long trip, you're going to have to commit to it. You're not going to be able to see your friends for a while in game, because you're going to go all the way out into the black. And, again, there's a really cool aspect to that kind of commitment. And the fact that they're going to be improving that aspect of the game, allowing explorers to really, witness new things and fill out this codex and just getting more from exploration, I think is going to be awesome. So we've talked about improvements in trading, exploration, mining. Another cool thing, not just for explorers, but pretty much for everybody else, is the fact that you're going to have new planet colors. As a matter of fact, there's actually a video for that. Let me actually show you guys real quick. If we cover this, I actually do have a video here. Planet hues. So most of the planets right now look very beige, very brown, very not particularly interesting. As a matter of fact, I remember at one point I was exploring something because I was looking for Thargoids, and I found this planet that was like all white. And I actually just went down there and flew for a little while, just appreciated it, because it wasn't beige as all of the other planets, So those are very rare, but they're going to be a little bit more common, and they're going to be changing up the way the stuff's going to look.
Development of Elite is that we get to go back and we get to polish some of our assets, and as you can see here, we'll be doing that with our planetary tech starting from the first update next year. And what we'll do with that, as you can see here, this is work in progress stuff, but it's all building towards the end release. And what we'll be doing is revisiting the shaders and the graphs that produce our planets, and we'll be bringing out some of the contrast and the details in there that's already in the system, but also adding more, so you get a rich, more detailed look. We'll also be adding a wider variety of color variation.
Yeah!
So you can kind of see what they're looking to do with planets. They're going to look more diverse, which is good, which means explorers will be able to find more unique planets and more unique things in their travels. And that, in my opinion, is it's pretty exciting. If you're an explorer, or even if you're just like a regular player, because you're still going to get to see richer planets, and you're going to be able to just like enjoy and get more immersed. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that we're going to be able to go down to atmospheric planets just yet. I was also very disappointed that we didn't get to hear about space legs, because to me, space legs is one of the most important features that I'm personally looking forward to, because I would very much like to walk around inside my ship. I think that'd be really cool, particularly like if you have passengers on board, be able to go back there into the passenger cabin and actually get just like some kind of randomly generated text from them, where you could actually interact with them. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, that's another thing. So another feature that they're going to be adding is going to be GalNet audio. Let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Matter of fact, I'm going to pause the music to make sure that you guys can hear this a bit better. And here's GalNet.
Greetings, Commanders. For over a century, the GalNet news agency has been bringing news to the entire galaxy. Now, we are introducing a new feature, GalNet Audio. galactic leaders have declared a galaxy-wide state of emergency in response to the rapidly escalating Thargoid threat. A number of ships and outposts have been attacked in recent days, resulting in a high number of casualties. Security patrols have been stepped up throughout core systems, and civilians are being advised to avoid all non-essential travel. Both the Federal President and the Emperor are expected to make public statements soon. GalNet Audio. Your galaxy in focus.
So basically the point there is that you will be able to listen to the GalNet news articles while you are flying around in space. So this is a big deal, at least in my opinion, because a lot of people don't even consult GalNet. Although, even though this is a big deal, I think something needs to be made to put GalNet a little bit more in your face. Like, I think people should actually receive GalNet news. Now, bear in mind, I'm talking about GalNet news, not necessarily the power play updates, the faction updates of Galaxy XYZ, the like all the other background sim stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about news. I'm talking about narrative things. People should receive those in their inbox, not just on GalNet. Like, they should be archived on GalNet, but people should receive them in the inbox, which would actually be really cool because the inbox is already implemented into there's been a revamp to the inbox basically, and it's already been implemented that way. So basically you could go up to your inbox because the message shows up, and it's a lot more convenient than going square left and then going all the way down, clicking GalNet opens, and then you pick through the news. No, it's like there's a new thing. It's very convenient. Just like go to your inbox, check it, you see it, click it, and then you just have an option there. It's like, would you like to play this in audio? You know, and you can just click it, boom, audio plays, done. However, I would like them to take it a step further. Now, I'm not sure if you guys also follow someone who is called Vindicator Jones, who is way more of a elite dangerous personality than I am. But I would like to show you something real quick here. The randomness of live video. Anyway, let me just get Vindicator Jones' channel up here. I wasn't really planning on showing this, but I figured might as well. Because they pulled up GalNet audio. I just forgot to bring up the video. So, here we go. This is a video from Vindicator Jones. I'm going to skip ahead here because I would like to give you... Okay, here we go. Here's his concept, which in my opinion is even cooler than GalNet audio. However, GalNet audio is a very good half step into what he's doing here. So check this out. This would be his concept of what GalNet could be. And again, all credit for this goes to Vindicator Jones. I need to edit the description of this video to put a link to his channel. But here you go. This would be something that GalNet could look like.
Warning. This is a galaxy-wide alert from the Pilots Federation. Commanders who are engaging in combat with Thargoid vessels have reported that the new AX missile system is starting to become less and less effective. The Aegis Initiative has responded with an immediate warning to all commanders that the Thargoid vessels seem to be adapting to the new technology. The Pilots Federation warn anyone attempting to engage the Thargoids should do so only as a last resort. The Aegis Initiative is currently working on the issue and will coordinate with the military on how best to rectify this problem.
So there you go. See, that would be even cooler. So say for instance, you have this whole GalNet audio thing like I was talking about, right? You receive the GalNet news in your inbox. And let's say you can even have a feature where you can subscribe or unsubscribe from GalNet news. For the players that don't want to get involved in the narrative, you can just unsubscribe from GalNet news and you can always go check the archives if you want to. But players that do want to get involved and they want to know and they don't want to be constantly looking up GalNet, it's like stuff just goes into the inbox, right? Once you get the GalNet news article, you could then choose play it in audio or play it in video. And they could have a small little video animation that would display just like Vindicator Jones shows in his video. So you would be aware that it's going to take up a chunk of your screen with some video. So just so long as you're not doing something too important, like say you're jumping between 10, 15, 20 systems or something, it's not like you need to be paying attention to a lot of things. All you got to do is don't crash into the sun, scoop enough fuel, and keep the jumps rolling. And there you go. You would have the GalNet presentation right there. Like your inbox, you would just choose between, okay, I want this GalNet presentation in audio, or I want this GalNet presentation in video, and the audio would be the same. It would just have like a little animation thing. It could be in-game footage even, so it wouldn't be that hard to record, or it could be some kind of, you know, a little bit of a 2D animation that they could work out that was not too complex to do. It's just, you know, these kind of things would go a long way to keep players more immersed into the game, at least in my opinion. So I would hope that would be something that they would consider doing. Now, beyond GalNet audio, there's also going to be another thing, and this one's going to be really exciting for a whole lot of people. This one is about engineers. So they're going to be improving engineers, which basically means that every single role that you do on an engineer going forward, I mean, once they implement this, which is not available yet, is going to be better than the role that you did before. Better in some way. So it can, maybe you can lose some other stats, but you will definitely gain something in the main stat, I'm assuming, of what you're trying to roll for. That is a game changer, so that people don't have to like friggin' RNG their way through the engineers, because it's a pain in the ass. Like, I've done it myself. I don't do too much engineering. I do limited engineering because I don't have to engineer to peak capacity because I don't do PvP, so it's whatever. But a lot of times it is frustrating because you're trying to get a good roll and it's just constantly dicking you over in the rolls. And it's a very frustrating experience, so it's good that they're improving engineers to do that. So anyway, as a final bit of thing to conclude this presentation, I would like to go to video, which is one. This was one of their final trailers that they've shown. Let me just pause the music here real quick. So many windows open for doing this particular video, guys. I have no idea. No idea how many windows I have open right now. There's the Type 10 right there. Hey guys, this video goes out to all of you Thargoid lovers out there who are like, oh, we should make peace with the Thargoids. Here you go. You should make peace with these two specific Thargoids that spawned at the end of this video. Go ahead. Go make peace with them. Go trade. Go give them human-occupied pods. See if they like them. Okay? Go ahead. Go make peace with the Thargoids. Right there. They're right there. Listen, I'm even going to show you in the frame. Look. You see these things? These are gifts that they're sending for you. Watch them send you. Yeah, you see the red? That's a sign of friendship. Okay, these Thargoids extremely friendly. You see these things they're deploying right here? These things, these are gifts. They're gonna give you all these gifts. See, look at them. This is them sending their gifts towards you. You guys are gonna love it. So all of you guys out there that are super excited about peace with the Thargoids, here you go. Continue sabotaging our community goals. It's going to be great when these guys show up in the bubble and just ravage everyone because nobody has the weapons to fight them. Good job, team. Everybody's still, not everybody, but a lot of people are still like, I just want to make peace with the Thargoids. Yeah, right. These guys want to make peace with you too. They want to make you in pieces. But anyway, something that I would like to bring up in regards to this video in particular is something that I instantly noticed when I watched the live stream archive yesterday. It is this. INRA. INRA. And you guys were like, what's INRA? Some of you guys might not be aware of what INRA is. And if we look a little bit further ahead, you will see that this also says INRA. I'm not sure if you guys can see. Yeah, it says INRA out there. And these are 2 SRVs going to investigate an INRA base. So what is INRA? You guys, excuse me, you guys might be wondering. And I actually have a window open right here. Even though I don't need the window, it's just I don't know the exact meaning of the words INRA because I haven't really decorated them. But it is the Intergalactic Naval Reserve Arm. Now I don't know the specifics of exactly when INRA started operating, but it was basically a Federation and Empire cooperation where they gathered together to develop technologies to defeat the Thargoids. So what happened was HINRA are essentially the people who created the mycoid virus, which was the virus that damn near led the Thargoids to extinction until the Alliance stole the cure for the mycoid virus and gave it to the Thargoids. So as you can see here, was INRA's research roots that won the war. Mycoid virus was developed and delivered to the Thargoid homeworld by a courageous INRA pilot. The virus destroyed Thargoids' organic hyperdrives, halting them in their tracks and excluding them for hyperspace travel. Scattered pockets of Thargoids infestation were systematically eliminated. With the end of the Thargoid War, INRA was officially disbanded. Its veterans spreading to the corners of the galaxy to continue to gather fame as elite pilots are degenerate and live off telling tall tales in dingy bars. It was not as it seemed, however. INRA was still active, keeping an eye on human exploration of space. It knew that humanity should never explore out where the Thargoids' homeworld was for fear of another war, nor should humanity discover the despicable, virtually genocidal way that INRA had won the war. Silent vigil was without problem until when Mick Turner and Meredith Argent, owners of something shipyards in Elliot, decided to find out exactly what happened to Thargoids. Together they designed and built the ship far beyond anything ever constructed in civilian shipyards. This ship had the ability to travel to the Thargoid homeworld when the Turner's quest left human space. INRA hunted it down, destroyed it, killing Mick Turner. Undeterred, the Argent's quest took off with an unknown pilot, managed to discover the alien homeworld and cure their diseased hyperdrives, allowing peaceful contact between the two species. This actually is not as detailed as it should be, I think, because supposedly what happened was the Alliance pilots that went to the Thargoid homeworld, they stole the cure from the mycoid virus from the INRA labs, and then they delivered the cure to prevent the Thargoids from being completely wiped out. Another interesting little factoid for those of you that weren't aware, you guys know the Aether space, the Aether ship? Those of you who don't know what the Aether is, bring it up. I actually owned the Aether. It was my second ship. This ship right. This is the Aether. This particular ship was actually designed by the INRA. They designed this ship, so there might be more to this ship than we actually know, because it was designed by this secretive organization that damn near genocided the entire Thargoid race. So, you know, when you're flying around in the Aether, which is a reasonably affordable ship, it costs like 82,000 credits. Just remember, it was designed by an organization that damn near killed an entire species. You know, just something to keep in mind. No wonder a lot of NPCs on Aethers are actually quite dangerous with their friggin' railguns and shit. But yeah, it's very important. It looks like players are going to be investigating defunct INRA bases. Maybe we're going to, I don't know, maybe we're thinking about recreating the Thargoid virus. Maybe we're using bits of Thargoid virus in our weaponry, because supposedly since they've been cured of the Thargoid virus, of the mycoid virus, theoretically, wouldn't they have antibodies to deal with? You know, but who knows? Maybe there's other things that we're looking at in the INRA bases for technology and whatnot that we'll be able to use to fight off the Thargoids. Mohammed El Banoubi looks like a space taxi. Yep. Designed by a bunch of genocidal maniacs, though. Let's keep that in mind. But anyway, that is most of the things that were announced yesterday at Frontier Expo. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Helps out a lot. Before we're done here, though, I would like to suggest a couple of things. These are mostly in suggestions for in-game things, like we've talked about, the improvement to GalNet. Another thing that I would have to say they need to change, and this is specifically for the community goals, is how, and it feels like such a missed opportunity, because right now people are complaining, community goals are always the same. It's all about bulk, gathering bulk things or killing things in bulk. And there's no easy solution to this. I hope that people understand it. There's a lot of people going to forums and Reddit and just saying, oh, here's what we got to do to fix everything. And then I look at it, and as someone who actually has done programming in the past, not programming of games, simpler programming, because I do have a background in computer science. I've done programming in the past, and I see some of the things people are saying, and I'm just like, that's completely fucked up, unrealistic, whatever you're describing there. That's straight up never going to happen because it's too complicated. But I think there are some things that could be done that could be huge improvements into things like community goals, specifically now that we have community goals that involve Thargoid parts. And the simple improvement could be like, say for instance, you have things where it's like, you need to get a Cyclops tissue sample. For those of you who don't know how to do this, you actually have to engage a Thargoid. You have to throw a limpet at him. That limpet is going to attach itself to it, and it's going to start scraping bits out of it. And obviously the Thargoid is not going to like that. He's not going to like that at all, so he's going to start attacking you with everything he's got. So you got to survive long enough to collect that sample, and then that sample is also corrosive, which means you will have to have corrosive resistant cargo racks, which are small, which will greatly limit the amount of tissue samples that you can take back for the community goal. And then you think about all this, all the work that is to grab a Thargoid Cyclops tissue sample. And you're left wondering like, okay, so, it's a lot more work to do this than to grab a Type 9 and go pick up explosives on the system next door. So, technically speaking, the reward should be much bigger. It's not. Not only it's not, you actually have to sell the Thargoid bit that you take at the black market to have it count towards the community goal. See, that's where I think there's a massive, massive missed opportunity, because here's the thing. People are saying these community goals are boring because they're always doing the same thing. Well, say for instance, okay, you can do the old thing of getting the explosives and all this stuff, but what if by a factor of 100, the Cyclops eye is worth 100 times more than a ton of explosives? That means I deliver a Cyclops eye counts as 100 tons of the thing. Then you're actually giving players an incentive to engage in this Thargoid content and actually go and get the Thargoid samples, which is what makes the most sense if we're developing Thargoid weaponry, not the conventional. Sure, conventional explosives still make sense, but I would say the most needed commodity would be the Thargoid's eye tissue sample. And to me, increasing, maybe not 100, maybe 50, I don't know, whatever you guys think, but it just needs to be a massive reward. Because I remember the first community goal that involved alien technology. I was super excited about it because I'm like, oh, dude, all these things that I've been doing about the Thargoids, they're finally going to pay off, because unlike a lot of these other commanders, I'm actually ready. I have everything I need. I know exactly where I need to go to get the unknown artifact. I know exactly of 2 alien bases where I can go get these items. So I'm going to go get, so I go out, and there's still no friggin' planet navigation. That's another thing that I have to suggest when I'm done with this feature. So I can go out, grab the unknown artifact from this planet by navigating through the coordinates, grab it, pick it up, go to the Thargoid base, park my ship there, fill my ship with tier 1 racks, corrosive resistant, which would actually let me carry 8 tons of alien things, which is actually respectable. Carrying 8 tons of alien stuff on your ship, pretty respectable. So I go in there, I do all these things, and then I go to the friggin' Thargoid base, and I'm like having fun doing all of this. It's great. It's really cool because there's finally a community goal that I can really contribute to, because I have all this knowledge about how the Thargoid thing works. then I go there and I pick up the stuff, I put it on the ship, and I'm like super hyped. And I get to the base and I turn it in, and you guys have seen the video. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but when I turned that in, it's just like all that excitement just died because one, the monetary reward, forget about it, it's garbage, which I don't care. I don't care that much about the monetary reward, but it should count way more than me going to the station next door and picking up explosives, which it didn't. Because, I mean, all the work involved in me picking up the unknown artifact, taking it to the Thargoid base, picking up the other things, carrying them 2 at a time because the SRV only has 2 slots, finally making all the preparations, taking my ship across to where the thing was, which was like 300 or 400 light years away from the place where I had actually done the quest, and then finally handing it in. And I was just filled with disappointment because the reward did not justify everything that I had gone through. And in my opinion, it should really, you know, that's how you would change these community goals. Like, sure, give people to do it the old-fashioned way because there's still traders. You know, there's still the people who are running around in their big Type 9s or Anacondas chucked up with friggin' cargo racks that they like doing the heavy bulk trading. That's great. Let them also contribute with doing bulk trading for these goods because they know those goods are going to be selling at a higher price there. But also give other pilots who actually want to get involved in the narrative and do the thing, you know, a reasonable rewards where it's like, if me handing in the Cyclops Eye, even if it just gave me 20 times the amount of what counts for like explosives or whatever, it's just like, okay, have one thing count for like 20 tons of something else. I would not be particularly happy, but I would still be way happier than what I was when I just turned in and it's just like, oh yeah, you turned in 3 tons. Here you go. You contributed 3 tons for this community goal. You're talking about community goals that when they reach the end, they will have thousands upon thousands of tons. And all the work that I went through contributed 3 tons. It should contribute more because it's alien technology. And that would get players involved in all this Thargoid content because they would want, oh no, I want to do the harder thing so that I don't have to carry as much. So it gives me more challenge, but at the same time, I'm also getting more and I'm contributing more to the community goal. And that is, you see, that is something that I know for a fact is not hard to program because you can just have, okay, this item when turned into community goals counts for 10 times more, 50 times more. That is a super easy thing to change. A friggin' variable change, okay? Don't even try me there, okay? I know this shit. So that is one of the things. The other thing that I wanted to talk about as well, which we were talking about right before was the community goal sabotaging. Players sabotaging community goals. I hope players understand that the reason we only have cargo racks that can only carry 2 tons of corrosive materials is because players sabotaged that specific community goal in the past. The reason why we only have tier 2 cannons and tier 2 missiles to fight the Thargoids is because players are sabotaging these community goals. And you guys should really, really start to think twice about sabotaging these community goals because pretty soon the big Thargoids are going to come and we're not going to have the weapons to fight them. It's not going to be a fun time because we're all just going to have, basically it's going to be an activity that is going to be limited only to big wings of like 20 or 30 commanders because you're just going to need sheer numbers to get those weak-ass weapons to work on the Thargoids. I was with a friend last night. We were trying to take down a Thargoid and we couldn't. We just couldn't. The 2 of us couldn't. Whereas previously, I'm pretty sure with the ship that I was preparing to kill Thargoids, I could have soloed it. And I know there's been the nerf, there's been all these other things, but right now, the fact that our hard points are so small, it means that you need more and more commanders to take on the Thargoids to deal with that stuff. So I'm hoping players will start to reconsider the community goal sabotage. I also think that community goals do need a couple of changes, specifically in the terms that I've said, which is like if you're asking players to do something, give them a hard thing to do and a simple thing to do. Right now, you're just giving players simple and tedious things to do. And another thing that I would like to bring up as well has to do with naval rank. Now, naval rank right now is basically stacking missions, which in my opinion is boring, because ultimately you're not really contributing anything to the Empire or the Alliance by being a glorified courier. I mean, sure, you're taking messages back and forth, but how does that advance you all the way to the ranks of Duke and King and Rear Admiral and whatever comes beyond Rear Admiral? You know, it's like, how are you actually forwarding the faction's struggle by just carrying boom data deliveries back and forth, which is essentially what most people are doing when they're getting ranked. That's what they're doing. And in my opinion, again, there needs to be something that is harder to do, but also gives players better rewards. Like Squadrons, that is a massive opportunity for having a mission that just straight up increases your rank by a factor of fuck knows how much. And I'm not talking about, you know, the basic stuff right now. It's like, okay, so now there's missions that give you ×1 rep, not times, there's the little symbols, the plus symbol. So this mission gives you +1 rep. This mission gives you +2. This mission gives you +3. That's the current implementation. I'm talking about, no, listen, you got to change this. You got to change it to the point where it's like, this mission is hard. It is going to take time, but it is going to increase your faction in the current terms by a factor of 20. Instead of increasing it by 1, by 2, or by 3. No, you do this mission that has follow-up things and hard things to kill and long trips and whatever. It increases your reputation, not reputation, increases your rank by a factor of 20. Don't be afraid to play with big numbers. Most people are just like grinding their lives away anyway if they really want a Corvette or a cutter. They're just sitting at their computer for like 20 hours on end, just like grinding that shit away. Make it fun, you know? And that, again, that is something that is not that hard to do. I mean, sure, designing the mission, that part is hard. I'll give it that. But actually implementing it, not that hard. Like, for instance, right now, Thargoids are here. Okay, have a mission that's like, go kill a Thargoid in this sector. Have it actually be a mission target. Once you kill this Thargoid, boom, increases your reputation by a factor of 20. Not your reputation, your rank, by a factor of 20. There you go. You know, as the Thargoids are right now, because right now they're fucking hard. Very hard to actually go out and kill a Thargoid. Definitely you're not going to do it solo. And even with a wing, it's very challenging. But it'd be so satisfying, you know, to actually do a mission like that. Again, and see, this mission isn't even that hard. Or even, for instance, go to, like, for instance, tag the escape pods that are being kidnapped by Thargoids and make a mission about people stealing the escape pods under the Thargoid's nose. See, that's a mission that involves risk, it involves skill, it involves knowledge of the game, and have that mission increase your reputation by a factor of 5. There you go. Instead of a factor of 1, 2, and 3. You see, that way you're actually encouraging players to participate in these activities, and you're rewarding them appropriately for the things that they want. And that would be way, way cooler, in my opinion. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, another thing that I want to talk about, and this is something that I don't think it's too hard to implement. You know how players are always like, oh man, I wish I could go to another ship that I have somewhere else. You should implement a service. This one's a little bit harder in some things, but I don't think it's too hard. Because, I mean, think about it like this. Right now, you can trade goods between commanders. Obviously, you can't do it officially because there's no official way to do it. But basically, say I have a friend, I meet up with him somewhere in the game, and I can jettison cargo, and he can pick it up. It's easy to do. I've done it for Alien Technology to get some of my friends to get some extra money. And it's like, so since you can do this already, why not just have an interface to do this? Does he have enough cargo? Just like the interface that you have between the SRV and your ship, where you can transfer cargo between the SRV and the ship, you'd be able to transfer cargo between 2 players. This is a super easy thing to do, in my opinion. Shouldn't take that much to do it. And so long as players had like collector limpets or something to ferry the goods around, should be fairly easy to do. So say you do that, you now have player trading. Okay? I'm just saying regular trading of commodities, right? So now that you have player trading, something that you could do that would be even more interesting, and this is something that I think could elevate this game to such a different level, that would be insane. It's not hard to implement. That's the coolest thing. It is not the hard thing to implement. Real commander passenger missions. So now, for instance, I have ships out in Merope. That's usually where I have my base. And the reason you need to have a base is because, like, you know, you want to have your ships in a place where you can swap ships whenever you want. But say, for instance, I happen to be in the bubble in a Federal assault ship because I was doing the Secret Millionaire CG, right? And I'm out in the middle of the bubble in the Secret Millionaires thing, and I'm just like, crap, now I got to go back to Merope. That's 24 jumps for my Federal assault ship that actually has an engineered frameshift drive. That's 24 jumps, okay? That's a lot. But say, for instance, I don't actually need to take my ship there. I just want to go there because I have other ships in place. What if I was able to ask a player to take me there? Like, say a player has a Diamondback or an Asp Explorer or even an Orca or a Dolphin, some kind of passenger ships. Maybe you can even just have this be a service that is only available to Dolphin, Orca, and Beluga. You will need to boost the Beluga's jump capabilities, though, because that ship can't jump to save its life. But say, for instance, the Dolphin, because the Dolphin, actually, I think the Orca jumps more than the Dolphin, right? Say the Orca, right? Orca jumps a fuck ton. And you can actually engineer the frameshift drive to make it jump even more. So you get someone on an Orca. So I go up, and there's like a board, the same way that you have right now for multi-crew. You could have something that would say passenger trips. I don't fucking know. Bus services, ferry. I don't know what you could call it something. Space trip. You would click there, and you would have players that would automatically could also click there and register themselves, almost register themselves like Uber drivers. That's it, Space Uber. Space Uber. You could have players register themselves there as Uber drivers, right? And I go to that service, and I'm like, I'm in this station. I need to get to this other station. Player comes over, and you negotiate with the other player. You'll be like, okay, take me there. I will pay you 500,000 credits or 200,000 credits, something like that. The players can kind of like negotiate, like maybe you're in a hurry, you know, so maybe you're like, okay, 1 million credits. You make the offer, right? And someone takes you up on it. They're like, okay, let's go. Boom. You only pay when you reach your destination. If the other player gets killed along the way, you don't pay him. You also end up back at the station. The other player doesn't get his thing and he dies. So the other player is also taking a chance. And that, wouldn't that friggin' be awesome? Like you actually would have gameplay between two commanders deciding like, okay, I want you to take me here. Here's how much I'm willing to pay you. Do you want to take me there? And the game could suggest prices and stuff like that. But you could also have, you know, maybe there's not a lot of people on the Space Uber service right now, so I can take advantage of that. I can be like, no, I'll take you for 1 million credits. You'd be like, no, 800,000. You could haggle with the other commander, you know? That could be something that you do. And after that, commander takes you there, drops you off. Once he drops you off, the money automatically gets withdrawn from your account, just like an Uber trip. And you're in the new station. You're in the new ship. Boom. Proper passenger missions, actually taking human passengers across the galaxy. Not that hard to implement, in my opinion. Space Uber. It's actually 3303. I think it's 3303. Oxom. I think you got the year wrong. But yeah, that would be friggin' fantastic. But anyway, thank you guys very much for listening to all of these suggestions that I had and all this other stuff. I'm actually going to send this to their community managers. I don't know if they'll have the patience to watch the whole thing. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But either way, thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe so that you're always notified. If you really, 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 really enjoyed it, consider sponsoring. There is a link in the description of this video where you can go to the YouTube gaming version of the website and sponsor there, which will really help in supporting the channel. You also get cool icon like Paven Bees, as well as unique emotes in live chat. Thank you guys very much for watching. Comments, feedback in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.